important. Ah, yes, a Winter Wyvern.
Winter Wyvern, okay. We've seen this hero just a little bit. Does work very well against 5-man strategies.
Yes.
The only games that I've actually cast Winter Wyvern, it's felt very underwhelming. And I'm not sure if that's just the nature, the dynamic of the hero hasn't been figured out yet on this patch, but the ultimate just, it seems very easy to play around.
And the Cold Embrace in the early to mid game, everyone has plenty of magic damage. It seems to be a spell that's amazing late game because it's percent-based heal, so when you get really tanky is nice. And late game, you're limited on magic damage based on your skills, which don't get better 40, 50, 60 minutes in the game. That's where you have more physical damage. So late game is amazing.
I'm not sure if you guys were here today, but there was an amazing Na'Vi game where Winter Wyvern played a key role.
And that was in the late game, though. That to me was like, if that hero doesn't do what he did in those team fights at 20 to 20 to 40 minutes in. He only does that 50 minutes in.
Right. So
but he does become amazing in that time.
So. A Glimmer Cape on Winter Wyvern just means one of your carries just stays alive for 5 seconds no matter what happens. So it's a pretty good pickup there. All right, guys. Well, with that, we have the losers bracket finals. Winner of this goes on to the international one way or another. Big match here. It's Rave versus MVP. Our casters will be Luminous and Zyori. Take it away, guys.
All right, a big match indeed here, Lumi. Someone's hopes and dreams will be crushed at the end of this series for this season of TI. How are you feeling overall about these drafts? Do you favor one over the other?
I think it's pretty okay on both sides. I don't think any team has a particular advantage. We said that MVP's going to group up more, but honestly, if you look at their heroes, I'm not sure if they're the best group up hero.
Yeah, they've tended to want to group up, and they've drafted that way, but you're absolutely right. It's been based on sustainability, and the Cold Embrace is basically the only sustainability they really have in terms of being able to heal on the fly while they're knocking down towers. So maybe that will adjust their playstyle a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think Cold Embrace is going to do a lot in kind of during team fights, because look at the spells that you're going to take if you're kind of locked in place, right? Rocket Barrage being the huge one, Magic Missile is the easy setup.
Shadow Raises.
Yeah, Shadow Raise. I mean, you're standing still. He's not missing his raises.
Yeah, hopefully not at least.
So the only interesting thing to point out is that Treant did not go with Bootster, so I guess you're not putting too much pressure on the Beastmaster, because when you run at him, he'll just run away. You're not going to get too much hit off. And that boar is going to be pretty annoying as a result. Because when you're running back, that boar slow is going to chip at you a little bit by a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like lanes will be fairly straightforward, though. On both sides of the coin, it will be that off-lane Earthshaker that we talked about, Shadow Fiend mid, and a defensive tri-lane for Rave. And yeah, there's Ryo with his boots first. And Jo headed to the mid lane. He'll be up against QO's Queen of Pain, the off-lane Beastmaster, and then two supports to roam about and support the Lesh. Nuts here on the Winter Wyvern. We'll start into the mid lane for now, and we'll see where he moves around.
Oh, actually, he used Arctic Burn, so that's 45 seconds without that long spell. Shadow Fiend should be fine now in the mid lane. Again, Treant doing Treant things. Punch, punch. He's actually taking...
Hasn't skilled anything yet.
Yeah.
So I guess he'll wait and maybe level the Leech Seed, but just in case he needs a Living Armor to save somebody from a First Blood attempt, perhaps.
Yeah, he could get Leech Seed and Punch much more, but he obviously is not going to get the kill. In fact, Double Boar, he's losing way more HP, and that's where not having the boots is an issue. Yeah. Also, having boots lets you go straight into an Orb of Venom on the side lane, and March just can't sustain against that, not even close.
Well, March getting some XP at least out of this initial lane with both safe laners, farming just fine. Should be a fairly even laning stage on that front.
Yeah, so what we generally see from Ryori is that he gets really key ganks on the Earthshaker, especially on the mid lane. And his roaming partner is essentially going to be Vengeful Spirit, because I think Treant's going to be mostly static on the bottom lane, leeching some experience. But it's a pretty obvious play when Earthshaker misses from top, Venge misses from the bottom, so...
Yeah, the way he's liked to play it, at least in the games that I've seen, is he'll be very quiet in the lane, play very defensively, almost so that the other team forgets about him a little bit. And then once that Lesh starts moving, that's where he'll start finding some last hits, get those arcane boots up, and then before you know it, he's close to that Blink Dagger, somewhere around that 15-20 minute mark, which is not bad for the offlane Shaker, depending on how the game's going. Mid lane looks to be pretty lopsided in favor of the Queen of Pain, at least out of the gate. I guess what we would expect here, 9 and 6 on her compared to the 5 and 1 of the Shadow Fiend. Febby, can he find it? Nope, good pathing here from the Radiant side. The Boogie will get his Sentry Wards. I mean, Febby, he wants it, but
they see him.
Yeah, he takes a tower shot as well. All right. Well, a noble effort. Something that they should really expect. Febby has tried to do this in almost every game that I've seen as well. He loves that 2-minute courier snipe.
But that's fine for him because not only did he take a haste from denying it to the Radiant team, he also made Shadow Fiend miss like half a wave of farm. And you can look at this Shadow Fiend right now just really struggling. Fidger being dropped off on the top lane.
Yep, Arctic Burn getting Ryo rather low, but no kill attempt coming out quite yet. He at least found his level 2. But they are zoning him pretty effectively.
Yeah, but you know, look at this Shadow Fiend. He's just so poor on the last hit department. He's getting doubled by Queen of Pain, which, I mean, part of it is the matchup, but the other part is, you know, Febby doing a little bit of rotation earlier, scaring that Shadow Fiend. And of course, the last part is JO's just missing a couple of last hits, which happens from time to time.
Yeah, QO is playing this very well. As you were talking about, Queen of Pain should win this lane, but this is more lopsided than you would expect for sure. Things getting a little bit easier for him here. He will have that living armor to help him out. Gets poked by the dagger, but already has his bottle out and just trying to get those Necromastery souls.
All right, so do you? I don't think I've heard you favored one draft or another, but seeing how the first 3.5 minute played, do you feel that either team's going to have the advantage, let's say, in the next 5 to 10 minutes?
The next 5 to 10 minutes. I think in general, I like the Rave draft just a little bit better. I like that they have a lot of lockdown to set up for the Gyrocopter. It's like just the nature of Gyro and Treant on the same team, I think, is really good for those mid-game team fights. If you can land a decent overgrowth, sets up for call downs, flank cannon, all that good stuff. MVP, I'm having trouble imagining them looking very strong without a classic 5-man group up strat, and that's where I'm wondering how they will adjust their strategy, and if they'll even try that, or if this is where they'll pull out some of those pocket strats and show us some of their versatility.
Queen of Pain losing a lot of health on the mid lane. I imagine took a couple of rays. He's forced to kind of go back and bottle up.
But and for the Queen of Pain, are you thinking this is an Orchid first game? We've seen a lot of Aghanim first, especially in the SEA region, but that's also coupled with a lot of safe lane Queen of Pains that we've seen. So this seems like a pretty good Orchid game to me.
Yeah, well, Orchid's decent. One thing you know about Rave is that both the cores will eventually go for BKB. And if you look at the lineup, they have a bunch of spells that are great against it. The Beastmaster Roar, the raw attack speed from the aura that you get from Beastmaster for more physical hits.
Sonic Wave.
The Sonic Wave, as well as obviously the Winter's Ultimate, which I don't really know what's called. I guess I could look at
Winter's Curse, I believe.
Winter's Curse. So I guess there's less emphasis that you need to go Aghanons because of that. You have so many counters to the BKB, which counters your Orchid. It's like a double counter. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Sort of. I honestly,
Sure, Lumi.
I think either one is completely fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So both could work here. And I guess some of it depends on how they want to make their movements. That top tier 1 tower has already fallen, so they've struck early on that lane. But this is actually okay for Ryo. Now he'll get some creeps pushing his way, and he'll get some extra experience. Still kind of lackluster in last hits. Only has about 5, but this will get him close to level 4. Pretty even in terms of offlaners, although the Beastmaster still hasn't found a single last hit. Still 0-0, even though he is getting okay experience.
Yeah, he's level 3.
And look at that ward they put down right on that spot behind the Roche pit, so they'll see if he stacks Ancients, and of course they'll try to intercept that if the stack comes up.
Yeah, and right now he's not stacking Ancients, so, well, less farm for him. One thing that we haven't really mentioned is that when you play mid Shadow Fiend, as Ninja Boogie gets a little bit of trouble, but he does have living armor, magic missile, and a raise goes off. Second raise will hit as well. QO dropping low, but looks like he's going to be fine. Meanwhile, the poison plus the 4 coming in. Rocket Barrage going to go on March as well. Looks like Deny was not going to be there. Arctic Burn chasing on the backside. March running away, but there is going to be, well, there you go.
Well, almost gets the Deny. Jay will finish him off with a Shadow Raise to the face, a 1-for-1. But the Beastmaster, pardon me, the Queen of Pain was the one that actually drew the first blood. It was the dagger that got the kill. Yeah, that's really good for MVP Phoenix. And she was already dominating that mid matchup, and now she'll be even stronger with Power Treads picked up right away.
Yeah, so one thing that I'm surprised that MVP or Rave did not do is put a ward for Shadow Fiend on the top half of the map. Maybe on the entrance leading up to the Ancients. Because it's very easy for the Winter Wyvern to just go on that cliff and Arctic Burn and fly over and start. Suddenly you're dealing with Arctic Burn plus a Quap, the poison thing.
The dagger.
Yeah, sure.
Shadow Strike.
Shadow Strike. It's poison, right? Yeah. So yeah, you have the living armor to bail you out, but when you have 2 heroes right-clicking, that armor is going to get dissipated immediately, and Shadow Fiend is in a lot of trouble. But it seems like that's not the path that MVP took, and Shadow Fiend kind of dodged a way that MVP could have ganked.
Yeah.
But I think that also explains why he isn't farming as well. I think he has to play a little bit more cautiously.
Yeah, it's true. Ryo's still getting a lot of space here in this top lane. That is one of the issues with knocking down those early towers. Sure, you get the gold game for it, but whoever's in that lane will get some extra little bit of farm. And looks like we've got a replay coming up here. We'll relive the first blood moment. It was a pretty close call. Ninja Boogie comes in, tries to set it up on the Queen of Pain. Looks like he's in some trouble, but will drop the stun. Sets up for an easy set of raises, but then marches there. And Ninja Boogie definitely would have gone down if it wasn't for the living armor. So that did almost tip things in favor of Rave, but at the end of it, do you think Chrissy should have just gone for the deny here? It looks like he wanted to.
Yeah, I think he wanted
just
to. And
slightly mistimed it. And March almost got the deny himself. There's a big fatty stack here. A nice heads-up play from Jo to show out the raise. The Hadouken was on the way. If that was half a second later, it actually would have been a neutral deny. Pretty nice play there.
So how do you think that the winter pick has been working out for MVP? Seems like he's actively harassing quite a bit, both in the top and mid, and obviously participating in that kill attempt on the bottom lane.
Mm-hmm. It's okay so far.
I mean, I think what we agreed on during the analyst portion is that
it's a great late game support.
Yeah, and this is kind of where he's at his weakest, where he hasn't maxed his spells yet, where he doesn't have his ult, and he's kind of relying on.
It's a she, by the way.
She?
Winter Wyvern. It's a lady Wyvern.
Okay.
Come on, Lumi.
Have
some respect.
It's a very masculine dragon for a lady, though.
I mean,
I'm kind of.
That looks like a feminine eye to me. Look at that makeup. Well. She's a little
there's no makeup.
She's a little prickly for sure, but wyverns will do as they will.
Okay.
But I think it's been okay. Given that this is, as you mentioned, one of the weaker times of this hero in terms of her power curve. I think she's achieved a fair bit so far.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think? Would you agree, or? There's only been limited opportunities. I mean, we're only 7 minutes in.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think a lot of times what we see from Winter play is that it kind of just sits in lane and sap experience and really don't do anything. And then the mid game she falls behind because she doesn't really get the farm opportunity. But it seems like this game she's in there participating.
Well, here's Queen of Pain with an invisibility rune on, a sonic wave at the ready. Looks like the rotation will be towards the bottom lane to try and pressure this gyrocopter. Chrissy is the last hit leader right now, has his phase boots up. Ryo's also rotated towards the mid, but this will be a 4-on-2. And Nature's Guys keeping Chrissy safe for now. Invisible, scouting things out a little bit here. Nice play from the Treant, going a 1-1-2 build at level 4 just to have that little bit of flexibility. And it will actually stop the gank from coming out.
So it looks like they did actually use tree before.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that, as we might have more lag, I'm not sure if this combo works, and I want to say it does. But when you Cold Embrace, whatever that healing thing is called.
Yep, Cold Embrace, you got it.
Cold Embrace on a target, and then you disrupt them. I believe you come out with a full heal, or
I think you heal while you're.
Yeah, I think you heal in it. So it's essentially a kind of, hey, back off.
It's a freebie.
Yeah, it's a free heal. But with that said, you're also using 2 excellent defensive spells on the same hero. Mm-hmm. But I think the point is that MVP has a lot of flexibility against what Rave wants to throw at them. And when you're dealing with, for example, Magic Missile, which is a very kind of single target spell, you kind of could de-spell and debuff that quite easily.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point, actually. I have not seen Shadow Demon and Winter Wyvern on the same team, so I can't say definitively, but based on just the general mechanics of how Disruption work, I would imagine that they played pretty nicely. And I would imagine MVP Phoenix have figured that out already if they were going to pick this duo. Looks like we're having some good old classic SEA lag here for Rave.
Although Rave, are they playing from Singapore or are they back in Korea?
I think they're back in Korea. Yeah, they should have.
Well, we know MVP flew to Singapore, right, to play.
Yeah.
Man, they could have just stayed in Korea. All Korea final. Had better ping.
Yeah, they could have. Well, it's been a pretty quiet game so far. We're 8 minutes in, and both teams have been fairly passive, just sitting around farming at the moment. We saw that first rotation for MVP Phoenix right before this pause, but the Nature's Guys got rid of it. And Ninja Boogie, that's not a funny joke, man. Bad yokes.
Wasn't Nip getting DDoS today?
I have no idea. See, I've been casting nothing but Asian Dota, so I've slept through basically all of Europe. I get to catch the first or second game, and then I'm about ready for bed. It's a tough life.
I didn't know either. I was watching the game, but we were playing Mafia.
Oh.
And that was way more important to...
It's a really tough life then. You got to choose between top-tier Dota and Mafia with your friends.
Well, every time I watch the game and I pay a little attention to it, and they're like, oh, Mafia's not paying attention to the game. Well, let's lynch him. So I gotta... I gotta play, and I was a good townsfolk in that game. So
I like that. You can get a read based on how into the Dota game they are.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man.
Hopefully the lag will...
These next level strats, man. I got to up my
continue.
Mafia game. All right, so it seems we'll have another go here. Both teams dropping the Gs, ready to rock and roll. The Queen of Pain rotating back towards the mid lane. Disruption set up onto the Shadow Fiend, but there are supports nearby for Rave. They're actually smoked up right now. QO just throws out a scream and will blink back to safety. So no bloodshed here in the mid lane.
All right, no harm, no foul.
Cast.
Like, that Nature's guy's definitely done his work.
Oh, they're going for March. Call down to set things up. March taking huge damage from the Rocket Barrage. And, oh, yeah, that'll be an easy kill. Chrissy will get credit for that one. He just TPs out straight away, says, Cast, good luck to you, sir. And he's going to need it because the Sonic Wave connects on both, finds the kill on the Treant, and also sets up on the Venge. Ends up being a 1 for 2. Both supports fall on the side of Rave, and Gyrocopter did get the kill on Beastmaster. So slight favor to the Dire side, but... not too bad given that Gyro did get a fair bit out of it. Now Jo will be rotated onto the mid lane. Shadow Poison as well as a dagger comes out. And Ryo will rotate. Shadow Demon just gets dropped. Fissure to finish him off.
And when you say that it's MVP grouping up, but Rave is the first one that pulls 3-4 heroes on the mid lane. They're going to make a siege at this T1 tower. And I think it'll really go down without too much of a fight. I say that though, here comes Mark cheaping in.
Yeah, tower, very low on HP. Glyph comes out early, and Chrissy will get the last hit as the Gyrocopter. It's a little burst of momentum here from Rave, as in the bottom lane, MVP Phoenix will pressure this tier 1, but Jo comes down, double raise, connects on KP, takes a tower shot as well. Can't quite close the gap to finish him off, but Lesh...
the tower does it.
Oh, the tower does get the last auto attack. All right, there we go. Great turnaround from Rave. They defend the tower and get a kill out of it. And don't forget, Lesh is at position 1. So Shadow Fiend finding a kill on a very high-value target.
Yeah, and all this meanwhile, we have Gyrocopter now rotating up top. I really like the way that Rave has kind of positioned the hero, moving around the map. Chrissy obviously fighting very actively, keeping into that mid lane, but not forgetting about his farm as well.
Yep, looks like he'll just go right into a BKB, picked up the casual bracer, and seems he'll not invest in the full drums, but just get a little bump in the HP, as he already has an Ogre Club in tow.
Did I mistakenly see Necro books in that previous fight, or does Queen of Pain has Necro 1?
I don't believe you saw a Necro unit.
Okay, I just saw a whole bunch of like
I think you crazy
pigs and stuff. Like, that's a very early Necro 1 if that's the case. Great timing.
Yeah.
To whoever that bought it. But no, I think it was just like maybe boars and...
Yeah, it was just the zoo coming out of the Beastmaster there. Not quite yet.
Speaking of Necro book, obviously that's the choice for Beastmaster to get. Kind of a very high value item. You get a ton of DPS out of it thanks to your aura and the fact that the melee one has very low base attack time, so it works very nicely on that.
Yeah.
And the question is, do you think Queen of Pain also will double up? It's not exactly the most common item choice.
Well, based on that Belt of Strength, that seems pretty likely.
Well, there you go.
So that's a pretty good tell.
Spoiler alert.
If that was not there, I would have said no. I would have guessed Aghanims or Orchid, but the Necro books are really good against living armor, both against towers and heroes, because you just have so many auto attacks, similar to, like you mentioned, with just the nature of having double bore and that kind of stuff. So now if they have 2 Necro books, Arctic Burn, the Shadow Poison, and the little bit of poison from the boar, you've got Diabolic Edict as well. They have a lot of tools to cut through this living armor, and usually when you're talking about living armor, you have to look at it on both ways of against a tower and against heroes. You know, stuff like the Dragon Knight Corrosive Breath is really good about getting it off of towers, where you've got Ember Spirit, who's got Flame Guard, really good at getting it off heroes, or Ion Shell, stuff like that. But MVP Phoenix are finding the best of both worlds with these kind of hybrid abilities and just a massive Zeus strat where living armor, I don't want to say it's a non-factor, but won't be as big of a factor as it otherwise would be.
Yeah. Also, you got to keep in mind that True Sight gives you very good against Treant, as Nature's Skies would not be as useful as a kind of initiation/escape tool. As we saw, he initiated, I think, the Gyro in. No, I think he opened with Leech Seed, and then Gyro dropped the call down, and then they kind of mopped everything up. So that's the mid-game that the Treant has to be somewhat careful about.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're flat cannoning, when you're using your Requiem, sometimes you kill that red one and you're taking, a ton of pure damage.
I was just going to say, how did we overlook the Flak Cannon against double Necrobook? Someone asked me the other day, I think it was on Twitter, or I got an email saying, why don't we see Necrobooks against Gyrocopter? Because he's picked up so much on this patch, and I didn't really have a good answer. I think it's still a really good strategy to deal with him, because once that Flak Cannon's turned on, it's very hard to manage in a team fight. If you're hitting the Necro
not
units,
managing
if
it,
one's
you're
low,
just hitting it.
You're YOLO, let's do as much damage as possible. So it's tricky, and it can definitely cost the Gyro.
I mean, I think what we're going to see is until Gyro gets that BKB, he's going to be somewhat cognizant of perhaps killing the red one.
Definitely.
But once he does get the BKB, he's like, let me kill the red one. I will want the extra gold as I kill your team, and I'll take your Necrobooks as well. So I see both sides of the argument. I could understand why we don't see Necrobooks, but at the same time, once that BKB timer gets low, you know that his BKB is about to end, pop that Necrobook. Yeah. And then he's going to take pure damage up the wazoo.
You got to break this habit of calling him by colors, Lumi. It was different in Dota 1 versus Dota 2. The melee
versus the
guy.
range.
Yeah.
All right.
For the OGs out there, it's very, very confusing. There's someone going, Lumi, the ranged one doesn't do the last will damage. It's the melee guy.
Okay. I got nothing to say. I was going to make a colorblind joke, but this is like a very bad person to make it to.
Hey, you can make fun of my colorblindness.
No,
but
that's not a good thing to make fun of.
It's not even a colorblindness thing, though. It's just that it's transposed, so it's the context makes it more difficult, and especially since you're an old school Dota 1 guy. So
I'm just old.
You're
So like I can mess up blue red. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. Well, regardless, we've got bigger issues here. Hopefully, Rave can tend to whatever it is bogging down their connection, and we can get this game 1 underway.
So one thing that we have not talked about is Shadow Fiend's item choice. I think he's obviously having somewhat of a harder time, although he has recovered. And if you look at this nice screenshot, is he has a stack waiting for him, so he kind of climb ahead. He's got power treads and about 1,000 gold in the bank. We've been seeing a lot of mech. I did talk about Yule Scepter as a way to kind of initiate against the Queen of Pain, and obviously the BKB is a very key item choice as well. Which of the three, if those are the three that you think he'll go for?
To go for first item, assuming that there's not going to be a combination. I think the mech has definitely been the most popular if we're talking about what we're likely to see in this region. In context of this game, even though MVP don't have this classic 5-man lineup, and like you mentioned, Rave have kind of been the aggressors on that front, I think mech really fits into that play style no matter how you look at it. If Rave wants to screw up and stay aggressive, mech is obviously a great item, and it can give you that little edge to defend against MVP. Where I look at their lineup and who's going to be their mech carrier, and I think that could give Rave a nice little edge in this mid-game interim here, and also make the Shadow Fiend rather tanky. This does not strike me as a Yule's game. It can be good initiation setup for sure, but I think they've already kind of got that in the Treant with his Nature's Guise. They've got the long-range Fissure, even the Vengeful Spirit for that. I don't know. I feel like the Yule Scepter is more valuable as a really good farming tool, and we see players that want to spend a little more time just farming around in the jungle, at least right when you get it to hit that power curve. I don't know. What do you think? I would guess the mech if I had to pick one of the three.
Yeah, they don't have another mech buyer, so you can't be like, hey, go Darkseer or Chen, you buy the mech, and I'll get some DPS.
Yeah.
But yeah, mech, obviously, it's very decent. The thing that I'm a little bit concerned about mech, apart from Queen of Pain's ultimate, MVP is very single target base. Well, I guess you could throw Leshrac in the AoE department there as well.
I think he definitely fits in the AoE department.
He has nothing but AoE. But there might be a scenario where, let's say, Beastmaster roars one guy, and they kind of start beating on that one guy. You kind of just have to mech for him, right?
Yeah.
You're not getting the AoE heal to its full effect, but you're throwing it out. But now that we have listed so many AoE spells, the Queen of Pain, the Leshrac, it seems like mech is more and more likely to be the case. When they open things with Sonic Wave, with the lightning, you just pop the mech and be like, all right, let's keep fighting.
Yeah, and I'm always a fan of mech when you have a pretty aggressive matchup. And these two teams, in general, I would say, are rather aggressive, especially when they're fighting against each other. And here we've got some stats to look at it in this qualifier, and wow, look at that. For this TI5 qualifier in SEA, 2 BKB pickups, 9 Yule's pickups, and 65 mech pickups.
I'm going to call those 2 BKB pickup the game-losing BKBs. You're so far behind, you got nothing to buy. Let's get the Ogre Club, let's get the BKB, and then lose in 15 minutes.
I think you're definitely right about that one, my friend. So, yeah, I mean, the SEA qualifier in general tends to be a little more bloody, I think, maybe a little more action-packed early on, and that's where mech is just so valuable. Especially in this game where we've talked about the lack of sustainability. Most of those healing heroes that we've seen as comfort picks for these teams have been banned out. Witch Doctor, Dazzle, Wisp, all completely taken out of the pool. So that's where mech maybe looks just a little more valuable. But I'm also I'm a mech sympathizer. I think it's not an underrated item, but a very, very good one. I think there are not so many situations where you could say mech is a bad item. Unless you're really serious about the split push, can't go wrong with a mech.
Now, speaking of mech counters or mech good and bad, I wonder why we don't see more of AA in this scene. Simply because it seems like Witch Doctor is one of the go-to hero for a lot of teams. You talked about MVP loving that sustain. You throw that Ice Blast on top.
I completely agree. I actually suggested that as a final pick for the series I cast yesterday against the Witch Doctor Dazzle. Like, this is just screaming Ancient Apparition, and I don't have a great answer for it. I don't know if it's just a hero that these teams are not particularly comfortable with, or they just don't like his kind of play style, but I completely agree with you. I think AA can be very strong in these kind of games. As we see the Effigy tour here. I think this is why Valve added the effigies, so we have something to look at during pauses like this.
We're gonna need more effigies if this keeps on happening.
Baby Frog Princess. That is...
What is that, Slark?
Disturbing. Yeah, it took me a moment. I think it's Slark about to do a backflip, so he's just...
Oh, there's a portrait on the bottom left for the hero.
Oh, yeah. Well, the coloring is kind of strange as well. It took me a second. Okay. Solid effigy. I like it. Well done, Febby. Well played. Lifestealer. You know, you don't see Lifestealer effigies that often, Lumi.
What's the most popular one? Probably Pudge, right?
Storm Spirit's pretty popular. He's got a lot of good poses with his, arms up in the air and stuff. Yeah, making the peace sign. Who else is really popular? Lesh. Ooh, look at what is this? First Blood.
There's a new thing that you could get effigy on kills now.
Oh, you can get like a heroic effigy. Wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that that was a thing.
And it'll do the pose of it when it happened in game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a pretty classic one. There's a lot of the lion finger. Look, he's pointing right at the Lesh, pointing into the air. Now, are you one of the haters of the new Lesh staff? Are you one of those purists that's like, I just can't get over my Lesh rack holding a big twerk it?
I like the big great staff. I just don't like the animation of the stun. It looks too busy for me.
Oh, I see. So you don't like the stun. I see. I think in a vacuum, the Lesh stun is really cool, but I do wonder what, once we get to like TI10 and everyone has an immortal, how crazy the game is going to look. It's just a giant dance party. I mean, I would argue that the Disruptor one is maybe a little more busy with the way the kinetic field looks. No doubt it looks awesome, but almost too awesome.
I mean, TI10, you're going to see Cloud9 in the finals fighting for second place. And then Envy doesn't have one of the 8 missing Immortal on his PA set, and you're like, report, please.
I do really like the anti-mage ones, though. Those the golden glowy glaives.
The bashers.
Those are...
I haven't seen
K-Pop is making a pukey face, but I think it's badass.
I haven't seen the custom bash animation yet. I don't know how that looks. Because I haven't seen anti-mage being picked.
I'm not sure if we were watching, I don't think you were there, but the other day, yesterday morning when the games were delayed, we were watching Fear play a pub game, and he was showing off his golden glaives, but he didn't get the bash, so. Our admin here, Extreme Chick, trying to figure out what's going on, keeping us in the loop. And I feel like we've kind of theory crafted this early game out about as much as we can here, Lumi.
Well, we're theory crafting effigy. That's where
that's where we've gotten to.
Things are at.
Oh, look at the little turtle. Thank you, Scriff, for pointing out all the nuances on the map. Did you know about all these little turtles, Lumi?
I only knew the one where you ward, because that's the one
I didn't know about that one. Wow, Scriff knows all the secrets here. There's so many hidden turtles.
Is that all the warding spots? Okay, that's not where you ward, so never mind.
Is that a frog? I don't know if that one's a turtle. Oh, was that a nod with the mouse?
We need to zoom in on that, please. You can zoom in on pause.
What a bummer. That's. I think he's trying to say no. We can't zoom in there.
Wait, is there a hero right up above it?
Oh, there is.
Okay, all right. Camera mode. Okay, now I need you to, we got the next level tech. Oh, that's a frog.
It is a frog. That is not the ice frog. That is the green frog.
That's just a frog.
Just a regular frog. Yeah. Okay. It's Ice Frog's distant cousin.
Did you like that outside box thinking there? He was trying to zoom in.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Lumi, you are a problem
That's why I'm here. just for the zoom in cams.
These He's problem solving. So, what's been the highlight of your TI5 hub experience? Is it Mafia? You seem to be really into the Mafia meta here.
You know, I thought I was good at Mafia, and then tonight the Mafia experience has been terrible.
I knew I was bad at Mafia coming in, but I've never played it with this big of a group. I've only played it with less than 11, which I guess is not even really real Mafia. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty inexperienced.
I'm generally a very guilty fellow. So regardless whether I'm good or bad, they accuse me. I just have no defense.
Yeah, I'm a good townsperson because I just have that poker face, and now that people know that, they can tell pretty quickly when I'm Mafia. It's also hard if you get your Mafia and the person next to you is also Mafia. That's when I really struggle. The one time in Mafia, I was sitting next to Mac, and apparently we were making the exact same like head movements and like same kind of facial expressions, and it was not very incognito. It's tricky. It's been fun though. Twitch chat seems to be loving it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think the best part of the TI5 hub is obviously the interaction with the other personalities. And I think for the viewers at home, you generally see them in a different light, right? Like normally you see, for example, Zyro casting, you don't see him playing Mafia.
Yeah.
And now you get a chance of seeing that. So it's kind of like, you know how the Summit 3 was, how a chance for the viewers to get to know the players better. This is kind of our Summit 3 experience, essentially.
For the talent. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that it's really cool to have everybody together, and I mean, I got to cast with Toby for the first time. I got to cast with Durka, and it's pretty cool.
The LD Toby cast today, though, it was
I'm sad I missed it, but I'm gonna have to go back and catch the VOD, turn down my speakers because I'm sure it was quite electric. But all right, here we go. We're resumed, Lumi. Fingers crossed that we can hold steady. This Earthshaker, he's found some form. He's got his Arcane Boots and Soul Ring here already at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, I think he got a Fissure kill on Febby earlier, but here comes a Disruption Initiation. We're going to see a quick Nature's Guise if necessary. Fissure's going to get dropped. We will need a Nature's Guise quick, or he dead.
Yep, no Sonic Wave available or needed. We'll try to go on the cast here. Scream, not enough damage. About 25 HP, but the Winter Wyvern gets it. Nuts will secure the kill. It's a 2-0 here in the bottom lane.
Does that hit Visp? I didn't know it did.
Apparently it does. I did not know that either, but hey, the more you know.
Yeah. And now MVP will group up and siege that T1 tower. Is Rave getting anything traded in response?
They might get this tier 1. Oh, the tier 1 mid's already down. So, nope, doesn't look like it. They ping out the top tower, but bottom tier 1 has already fallen, and MVP will certainly be able to TP up and react if need be. So, Dire side striking with a vengeance and getting some more momentum.
So notice that Beastmaster is actually going for Medallion of Courage, which is definitely a not standard Beastmaster item. I think Mag is somewhere shaking his head. Like, you know, obviously the Necrobook is very powerful as an item choice, but a couple of reasons for him not getting it. Queen of Pain is obviously getting one, and there's an argument that she might even get it faster than he is because he's actually getting kills. She's participating everywhere, and obviously you want to be taking that Roshan as well, so it opens up another opportunity.
Yeah, and there's no other real Medallion carrier. Dire side, you definitely want to have that advantage. They don't have the fastest Roche lineup. I think they absolutely need a Medallion if they want to do anything sneaky around the Roche pit or expect to take it when the enemy team is alive. And I think you can still get the Necrobook at a pretty decent timing. Medallion, not the most expensive investment.
Yeah. And obviously Solar Crest is an excellent mid-game item upgrade, especially against the right-click that eventually will come from these Shadow Fiend and the Gyros of the like. So,
yep. So we'll see a rotation on both sides to the top lane. Rave holding true to their ping. They will rotate for their 5 heroes, and now Jo will TP out and just go right back to farming. They see MVP Phoenix want to make the movement and defend, so they will not press the issue. Living Armor coming out on that tier 1 tower mid to try and pick it back up. But MVP Phoenix doesn't seem like they've had a big problem just flash pushing towers down, and that's where the Living Armor doesn't really provide a whole lot in terms of anti-push. It's really good when you have a team that can't knock down towers quickly, but I think Phoenix should be able to take them down in kind of one fell swoop fairly easily.
To be fair, though, we haven't actually seen Phoenix trying to defend towers. When call-downs are being dropped, when long raises are being used, I think it definitely will slow MVP down, and it will give you a little bit of time to heal up those towers. And we'll kind of have to wait and see when those defense come.
Yeah.
Looks like that's BKB first on Chrissy, unless... No, that's the Y.
Oh, okay. Wow, really thought that would, especially against that fast Necrobook, thought that was for sure a BKB, but...
I mean, having the extra health is never a bad thing, but...
Definitely not.
I guess BKB also gives you the extra health, so... I guess he just feels more comfortable dealing a little bit more damage. SMY, obviously, a decent farming item simply because of the movement speed you gain from it.
And looks like it will be mech on the Shadow Fiend. There it is, just now delivered. Pretty solid timing, 13 minutes. Could maybe get it a little bit more quickly, but still within acceptable parameters there. Also, the level 1 Necronomicon comes out for MVP Phoenix. And you talked about the medallion, maybe questioning it a little, but now it all comes to light. They move right into the Roche pit. No vision for the Radiant side, but
they know.
They will smoke up, and how do they know? Maybe just good game sense that everyone's missing off the map. They saw the medallion on the Beastmaster, and they will try to contest. Roche getting low, but Chrissy will come in. It's going to be a huge call down. He sets it up. Fissure as well. Scream from, or Sonic Wave rather, from QO. He's also got a double damage rune on, but the Echo Slam from Ryo. Oh my gosh, so much damage coming out onto the Dire side. A buyback will come from the Beastmaster, but the Dire will end up cleaning it up. The double damage on QO, just a little they needed to tip the scales. Cold Embrace will set up for the raises onto Jo. He is the lone survivor. It's him versus the world, a 1-on-3. They saved the Primal Roar till the very end. His living armor is now expired, and they'll use the Wyvern ulti, the Winter's Curse, to lock him down, and it's a full 5-man wipe. MVP Phoenix take the fight, and now they will be able to secure Roshan.
Still got the medallion, it'll do the work, but I'm not sure who exactly will be tanking. Well, March will try to tank, but he is well, there you go.
Cold Embrace, they've got the Ice Cube.
Alright.
Easy peasy.
So, the interesting thing for me was that Gyro just went straight in. He was the first one to die. And unfortunately, Aegis going to get picked up. Fissure into the pit. Oh, he's going to fly out. Call down. Will clip on the right side. Nuts. Try to get out there. He's dropped so low.
Beautiful disruption on the March. It keeps him alive. They turn it on to the Vengeful Spirit. Now Chrissy will finish off the Aegis with a Rocket Barrage. He has the living armor. It's already expired. Now stunned up from the Splitter. Too much damage from the Lash. It's another death for Chrissy. Rave finished off the Aegis, but boy did it come at a big cost. Now Ryo on the run. QO will chase him down. Living armor maybe buys him a little bit of time here. It's only a level 1 dagger on QO. And maybe Ryo will actually live after all. No one else able to pursue. Still, Gyro dying back-to-back times there. And Rave, all they got was an Aegis.
Yeah, right now all the momentum is on the side of MVP. It's also very strange. Normally when you take the Roshan and a one fight like that, you normally knock down a couple of towers as well. So that's only kind of the silver lining Rave has. You're like, you know what, we lost terrible fights, but we have a tower that we could hold on to. And now they lag out. So...
this tier 1 mid still at about half health, and this should be a pretty easy push.
Tree's going to try to keep it alive for as long as possible. But we see in that particular engagement, obviously it was not the best call, because I think Jar went in first, and he essentially died before the Shadow Fiend could have even mech'd him. I don't think Treant was in position to get off a Overgrowth, for example.
Yeah, is there any way we could get a replay of the initial fight there around the Roche pit? I'd like to see the positioning of the Gyro. I think the call down initially was pretty good. They had the Fissure to follow up, so it did connect on 2 core heroes, but I kind of lost track of him after that. And
he just went in like...
Even after the call down, call down, and I'm
hey, I got flat cannon turned on. I mean, I gotta hit something. So he just went into the pit, used Rocket Barrage. I think that's where Disruption actually came into a big part of it.
That was huge.
I think he ate one of the rocket call down, but the second one was dropped. But we'll take a slow-mo look.
So, all right, Chrissy in the front line. So there's the call down. Fissure will follow up soon, but wow, he just takes so much damage from the Lesh, and then the Queen of Pain just finished him off with the Sonic Wave. I feel like QO did so much this fight. All of his screens connecting on multiple heroes. Even though the Lesh falls, he still does the big damage on securing the kill on the Gyro. And after that, it's really just Jo that's left alive. He's the one that gets the living armor, and the Treant, well, just can't do enough.
Yeah, you could see that the Cold Embrace... not really doing that much there.
Yeah, it set up the kill for Jo.
Yeah, it did some work. Also very unfortunate. Queen of Pain had double damage, so...
Yeah, that's, like you said, unfortunate's the perfect word. That's not something that Rave can really count on there. I think you still have to sort of go for it, but... Would that have been a lot different if... Okay, and this is the second one. So after Roche has already gone down, March is pretty low. He's the one that has the Aegis Fissure. It looks like he's certainly going to be dead, but the first call down doesn't hit thanks to the disruption. Beautifully played by Febby. He pops back out. Nuts is on the high ground with the Arctic Burn. Just barely lives. And March has to throw away the Aegis, but keeps Chrissy around just long enough that everyone else can get back to the party. Queen of Pain ready to come in and find another kill. And with Gyro dying twice, it's a painful series of fights.
Yeah. I mean, when you die twice, if you had gone for BKB and you're dying twice, that really delays your timing. But since he's going for Sanj, we're going to see SNY coming out. He could at least somewhat catch back up in farm. So don't get me wrong, it's a terrible loss. But he could
It's recoverable. Yeah. It's a fair point. It's not over for Rave, even though that was a pretty disastrous sequence of events. We'll see MVP Phoenix put some pressure on this Tier 1 tower mid. Glyph is used right away, and Living Armor will keep it topped off as Rave's starting to make rotations to mount a defense. Phoenix will be repelled for now as we use it.
Yeah. It will surprise me if MVP decides to like barrel down mid, simply because they don't have Sonic Wave. They don't have the Ageless anymore because Beastmaster had to use it.
Yeah.
So they didn't really get too much advantage apart from obviously the big gold and experience boost.
The big advantage I'm seeing here is not in the cores, but in the supports. You see the leading farmers, they're all pretty comparable, but Vengeful Spirit and Treant very poor. And then you look at the Shadow Demon and Winter Wyvern, and they're in really good shape. And we should see some decent items coming out in those inventories before too long. Shadow Demon with about 1,000 gold, and looks like a Glimmer Cape coming for the Winter Wyvern. TP out will be interrupted by Febby, and now Jo in a world of hurt. Split Earth will connect, and there's plenty of follow-up damage to bring him down. QO getting the kill on Queen of Pain.
Yeah, this is where champions are made of. If Rave could hold things together, kind of drag the game out a little bit longer, they could take it late, but not if the game's going like this.
Yeah, things starting to fall apart a little bit here. The Earthshaker is maybe a pocket ace they've got going on here, halfway to that Blink Dagger at 16 minutes. He's still finding decent farm, but this is one of the issues with the offlane Earthshaker in the context of an aggressive game like this. We talked about it in the draft, and he just takes a little bit too long to come online. If this was a Clockwork or a Darkseer, he could be offering a lot more in these team fights with a similar amount of farm.
Well, normally I think Ryu generally gets like 2-3 ganks off, such that his Blink Dagger is already online at this point in game. But obviously he hasn't found, I think he found like maybe one. Yeah. And obviously the kind of the carnage of the Roshan pit did not help him out. So I wouldn't call him pocket aces. Like maybe pocket eights?
Single ace, yes. Definitely not two.
Okay, maybe ace like he's ace like 9 or something like that. It's like a okay.
I was going to say ace 10, but yeah, ace 9 works. At least they're connectors, dude. Come on now.
All right. So Tier 1 tower goes down for free, which is kind of what you expect now that MVP fully commit to fight. And March looks like he should be going back for a Necrobook. You can get a mech. It's kind of like an old school Beastmaster build, but I imagine that it's going to be Necrobook. It's just too good of a passive.
Yeah, I think so as well. But we'll see. He's got about 2,300 gold. And ooh, Blink Dagger first item. So going for the initiation power. Now, I feel like this is more of an older style Beastmaster, where you just rush the Blink, go for the long range initiation, and I think very good, but just not something we see so often.
It's definitely a lot of pressure that Rave can't really deal with right now. And there's a little bit of sustain. Not exactly Dazzle Witch Doctor, but hey, a little bit of heal.
It's something.
Yeah.
So Gyro looks like he'll just pick up the Sange and now go into the BKB. Chrissy feeling the pain in those last few team fights, not even going for the Yasha, just getting some raw HP at this point.
Yeah, the key thing is that he's actually level 10. He needs level 2 call down to really make a big impact in these fights. And he's not getting any experience, so.
Yeah, trying to utilize Ancients as best he can, but it is certainly a struggle. MVP Phoenix staying pretty aggressive here as they're just clearing out the Radiant jungle, knowing that Rave can't really rotate onto the dire side of the map too easily, given that Tier 1 tower in the top lane is still there. They haven't opened up the jungle, and they're just limiting the areas that Rave can farm to try and find an edge. I like the way that MVP Phoenix are moving about the map right now.
So what do you figure Queen of Pain's next item is? She's kind of after Necro 3, obviously.
Yeah.
Are we looking at...
She has Necro 3 already. So Bloodstone coming out on the Lesh. I think Aghanims could be an option, so they can just keep this game high octane, have an ultimate for every single fight. If she doesn't want to do that, a Shiva's Guard could be a really good item here, though they may want to leave that for the Lesh. I really like Lesh with Shiva's, given that he's kind of a low armor hero in general.
So you won't say BKB though, because they're so far ahead. Aghanims essentially does quote-unquote the same thing. It makes you much tankier.
I don't think it'll be BKB's second item. It's possible, but for what? I mean, you've got Overgrowth that could still go through it. The Venge Stun, I guess Fissure is really the big one. But the way they have these teams set up, especially now with the Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster, QL can afford to sit kind of far back in the team fights and then come in once it's already broken out. So I think the nature of that, he could go BKB, but it feels too safe to me.
Yeah, I think it's not even safe. I think it's just the wrong item choice.
Yeah,
obviously,
safe to a fault.
Obviously, if...
Or not safe, too defensive is the
Yeah, too defensive. Obviously, in the next 5 minutes, let's say Rave double team wipes them, maybe we will revisit this discussion, but for now, Rave not exactly in the best position to do so. Yeah. But Shadow Fiend has gone for a Blink Dagger of his own.
Interesting.
Now, that one's very interesting to me.
High risk, high reward here. And they've got a Sentry Ward down. Cast, he's in trouble. Primal Roar comes out. Axis to follow up. Shadow Fiend uses the mech. Call down. Won't connect on much. And Cast may die to the poison. He does. Febby secures the kill. 1-0 there, and that's just unfortunate. MVP set the trap with the Sentry Ward, and he sprung it.
There goes T2. Mech and Treant down for a while. And that's kind of what I meant earlier. When one guy gets roared, you're forced to mech just for him. And then you can't even go in for the fight. But I think Rave was dropping spells just to retreat.
Yeah.
Rave should not defend this T2, by the way. No call down, no mech.
I don't think they really can. I mean, maybe they could.
Chrissy is moving as if he wants to give it a try.
Yeah, this is a bit risky. Lightning Storm from the Lesh will help poke him back. And without the living armor, this is just quite the easy push. No glyph either, and Tier 2 tower falls. It will be KP that gets credit for that one. So only one outer tower remaining for Rave. It is the Tier 2 in the top lane. And the Dire side still have 4 of their outer towers still standing.
Yeah. One of the concerns of this Rave draft is that you really need a ton of damage from your support. Well, from your other heroes, simply because Overgrowth is not a damaging spell in these fights. So they needed a really early Blink Dagger on Shaker to fulfill the damage department. Obviously, we know Blink is great on Earthshaker for the initiation, but they need it for him to start getting in there and fight, kind of initiate and deal a ton of damage with the Echo Slam.
Yeah.
And because they don't have that, this lineup is really being crippled. With the Glimmercade, like you said, how is Rave actually going to get any kills?
Yeah, that's a good question that I don't have a good answer to. With Shadow Fiend going for this mech blink, his damage output is kind of limited. And now he basically has to go for a damage item next, where I feel like he kind of wants a BKB.
Yeah.
And you just can't go that defensive. And it's, you can rely on your Requiem Shadow Razes for some extra damage, but as you pointed out, the Glimmer Cape is here. Where's the damage coming from for Rave? I guess the right clicks from Gyrocopter, but he's also been forced into a defensive
build. He's got 2 strength items.
So, yeah, his right clicks are lackluster, to say the least. And, well, with that, Rave will lose their last outer tower.
Yeah, this is not to say, all right, you get BKB, it's the end all be all, MVP has nothing to deal with it. I mean, again, to point out, they have Demonic Purge, they have Beastmaster Roar, they have Sonic Wave, they have Winter's Embrace, Winter's Curse. One of those.
Winter's Curse is the ultimate. Cold Embrace is the Ice
Winter's
Cube.
Curse. All those spells I've listed out goes through BKB. So yeah, you're surviving a little bit extra longer, but you're either slowed or stunned, or you're hitting your allies, or your allies are hitting you. It's not the best.
Well, we'll see things slow down just a little bit here. Now that MVP have taken out the outer towers, they will back out. I think they might want to wait for next Roche before they really get aggressive and try to commence the push again. It will be up very soon here. The Hawk already stationed on the high ground to scout it out, and yep, there he is. So I think this will be the focal point. If Rave don't contest, then they need to be ready for a smoke rotation coming their way pretty soon.
Well, in the last particular engagement, it seemed like they felt like they needed to contest, right? They kind of just charged in YOLO. They smoked up immediately. Gyro led the charge. And honestly, I don't think he was the best hero to do so. I wonder now, being much further behind, if they could feel like they could still make that play. I don't think they can, though.
What is the play for Rave at this point? I mean, they're not behind by an insurmountable lead, but it's getting there. It's nearly 10k net worth. They've got a bunch of Blink Daggers. I feel like the way they've itemized, they need to find some ganks. They need to find some kills. Blink Dagger is not an item that helps you farm that much more. It's a little bit of a mobility tool, but it's really there for positioning in team fights.
Well, it's okay for the split push, and I think that's what he's trying to do right now.
Yeah, that's
but like you're saying, you don't just fight for that split push. You need to do something with it in the fight as well. And you say they need ganks, and honestly, I think the best tool they have is the Blink Earthshaker. But since he picked up the item,
oh boy. Now Solar Crest is here. Easy Roche for MVP Phoenix. They smoke right away. Here's that rotation we talked about.
Okay. I mean, if MVP gets a pick, they're getting a Rex. That's all there is to it. So
wow, that's a strikingly low amount of Solar Crests on Beastmaster. I guess Necrobook is just so hard to pass up. We'll hold that thought, though. Here we go. March walks into it. Jail. He gets stunned up straight away. He'll get brought down before this fight even starts. He's the mech carry as well. They blow up the Beastmaster, but I think MVP Phoenix will be okay with that.
Look at that BKB Gyro.
Oh, not much is happening. Cold Embrace comes out. That'll keep Febby alive. The Gyro can't stop it. Yule's out on the Gyrocopter. Lesh is there with huge damage. Split Earth, Pulse Nova, all the follow-up lightning damage without a BKB. Chrissy is destined to fall. He can only make it further out of the base, but down he goes. goes. Now swap from Ninja Boogie. Not going to do a hell of a lot. Disruption will set it up. Can they connect with the stun? Nope, he's just a little bit too far away, but it doesn't matter. They've got the damage. It's a 1 for 3 overall with MVP Phoenix taking the fight handily, still with the Aegis in tow.
Yeah, I believe they have Necrobook back up soonish. So with that damage output, they still have it up, so they can use it.
Wow, Quapt is going to go BKB second item, so proving us wrong here. Going for the more defensive play. Glyph comes out as they move straight up to the high ground. A couple of buybacks available, though Gyro will be respawning in about 15 seconds. Tier 3 tower, at the very least, will fall. Not sure if MVP Phoenix will get barracks off this, but still a very successful skirmish into a pretty good push. And they don't have to overcommit for this. They still have the Aegis, so they can get this tower, back out, reset things a little bit, and then take another fight with the Beastmaster as this Roar comes back online.
Yeah, very patient play. They notice that Earthshaker obviously still has that Echo Slam available. Could have been ugly if you have Necrobooks and a big creep wave, but don't give them the opening, and they'll back off.
Yeah. I really like the way MVP Phoenix play this here. Losing their initiator, recognizing they got a good trade and they don't need to push the envelope. They've now got a mech out on the Winter Wyvern, BKB picked up on the Queen of Pain. These are very key items that will make this subsequent push a lot easier. And if they can catch another initiation like that, Rave will be in some trouble.
So earlier we were talking about the Queen of Pain BKB in terms of why she might not want to get it. One thing she might want to get it for is obviously to break out from that overgrowth, because obviously you can't blink away when you're ensnared by the ultimate. Another thing is that Earthshaker cannot chain stun you if you pop, like you spam the BKB key. You're going to get Echo Slammed, and then when he tries to go Fissure or Enchant Totem, you spam that BKB key and you'll break out of that chain stun. So there's a couple of decent ways that could protect her, but honestly I'm not sure if it's still the best item purchase.
Yeah, there is merit to it. It's not a horrible item purchase. Like you mentioned, I just don't know if it's maximizing the survivability and damage output. That's the thing that always gets overlooked with the Aghanims is you get caught up in the upgrade, but it gives you a lot of stats and a lot of survivability that does play an important role. But we'll see how QO utilizes it here in this next team fight. They'll have about a minute and a half left on the Aegis here, so right around 29 minutes, that baby will be expiring. They put down a sentry ward trying to set the trap for that tree ant to come wandering out of the base. I don't know the cast will fall for it again, but covering their bases.
I guess Lestrak just walks up on the high ground. There's no T3 to slow things down. Yeah, Splitter actually missing there, so...
Yeah, I think they can afford to be a little more aggressive with his positioning. They've got the Primal Roar up, and they just need to bait out some of these spells. If they could bait out a BKB or just get that Earthshaker to initiate maybe a little earlier than planned, that would be absolutely huge. Magic Missile does stun March. And nothing they can't handle. KP being very defensive here.
So Rave essentially have to weigh out the Aegis because they definitely could heal Lesh, but they're going to have to use all their spells, and they can't deal with Lesh a second time. And that's not counting in the disruption from the Shadow Demon, which combines quite nicely with Pulse Nova.
So here we go. KP goes to the high ground. He's got about 30 seconds left on the Aegis. I think at this point, you want to commit deep. You want to die to utilize the Aegis here. Worst case scenario is that it expires in the middle of the fight when you're not quite ready for it. Split Earth will connect onto Chrissy. They get one of the barracks down. They're still slow rolling this, and I think they're just going to back out and play it safe here.
Earthshaker drops a Fissure, but looks like he's going to get caught out here. Blink Requiem on the back line, hits decently on everybody, but Call Down not doing too much. Meanwhile, Chrissy, BKB activated, Overgrowth from high ground to low ground. But that Lestrak is just not dying.
Yeah, QO had his BKB on, but he still survives through it. Blinks back to safety. Everyone's still alive, but it's Rave that have used their big cooldowns, and they're in a little bit of trouble. Shadow Fiend will indeed be the first death of this fight. Now KP comes in. Big damage on him. The Aegis will expire. He gets just a tiny little bit of regen out of it. Gives him enough mana to finish off Chrissy. Buyback from him. It's a 2-for-0 as Ryo comes cruising in. Still has the Echo Slam, but can't find an opportunity to use it. And now MVP can just back out, knowing that Gyro bought back. Don't give him any way to find some economic recovery. They'll be very happy with this trade. 2 cores in the grave, and they don't lose anyone.
Are they backing off? Looks like they'll respect the defense and go back and heal up.
I think it's the right call with the buyback there, though.
You mean Gyro?
Yeah, no, I think MVP backing up is the right call after the Gyro buys back.
Yeah.
I think if the Gyro doesn't have a buyback there, you commit more. Maybe you rotate mid and start poking those barracks. But if you can force out a buyback like that, you've already gotten a little extra out of that fight.
So I'm actually recalling what God said earlier during the analyst table. He was saying that JO is kind of your stable carry, but he never goes above and beyond. And what we see in this game is that Chrissy's not having a good game.
Yeah.
Ryer's Earthshaker is not having a good game. So it feels like when Neither of those two players have a good game. Rave just does not function.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of like Burning versus Arteezy. Burning's one of those carry players that's very, very safe. He won't throw the game, but he won't make those over-the-top huge plays. And Artur is much more of like a high-risk, high-reward player. And it seems like Jo has been playing a little more of that Burning style where he's been consistently good, but when push comes to shove, he's not out there taking the risks that'll make you the big plays to get back into
Well,
the
the thing is, he needs to have those big plays because his teammate currently in this game is not bringing it.
Yep. Yeah, they are in some trouble. I mean, MVP Phoenix are in control of this game. They're going to have another push here without an Aegis of the Immortal. Those BKBs just getting slightly lower on the side of Rave. Queen of Pains is down to 9 seconds. And now has an ultimate orb. Probably the beginnings of just a Scythe of Vice. But this is exactly what we talked about with the Shadow Fiend. He's just gone this very defensive build. Mech, Blink, now BKB. Sure, he can live, but his damage output outside of the Requiem is just extraordinarily lackluster.
And I've never seen a lineup that counters BKB harder on the side of MVP. Like every hero has a way to deal with it.
Except the Lesh. Yeah. He doesn't have too much.
Well, Lesh just tanks it because he's fat.
He's a big boy, that's for sure. A lot of items on it. And again, all of the income on these dire supports is really making a difference. As Winter Wyvern having both a Glimmer Cape and a Mech is making things a lot easier for this dire side.
Don't forget about that Solar Crest, just constantly being thrown on that Leshrac.
That too. SNY finished up on the Gyrocopter, so still finding a little bit of item progression here. MVP Phoenix, they really want to finish off this bottom barracks. They'll get a Sentry Ward as they fly overhead with the Hawk. A little scout there. QO jumps in. Sonic Wave connects on 3. Jo will use the BKB straight away. Requiem tickles the dire side, but really doesn't do a hell of a lot. Winter's Curse comes out, will help isolate them. Call down doing some good damage. No one dead yet, but Rave running out of resources. And there it is. Cold Embrace on top of the disruption. QO will stay alive, and it's Jo that should go down first, but a swap from Ninja Boogie almost keeps him alive, but Lesh is there with the lightning. It'll cost both of them their lives. GG is called, and it's MVP Phoenix that take game 1 of this best of 3 elimination series. It don't matter, Lumi. It's over. The GGs have been called. The throne will expire, and well, a pretty dominant victory here from the dire side. MVP Phoenix looking very strong.
Yeah, the reason that we haven't seen any big Echo Slam till the last one after the GG was, I think constantly the Necrobooks or the Wars have been stuck on that Shaker. He was not coming in with a big Echo Slam, and they needed that to have even an inkling of a chance.
They did a really good job controlling it. But welcome back our analyst panel here, Gods as well as K-Pop Tosis. What are you guys thinking about that game?